Live on YouTube.
Start streaming.
There's not a lot of rules in this little segment.
Yeah.
On the we don't get too crazy on the
show.
main show with language, because we managed to show up with a parental guidance rating or whatever, like a good rating and not a rated R. So we're like trying to keep that. We don't want to get like audited. So I mean, it's not that language doesn't happen, but we kind of try our best to stick to what AM sports radio gets away with, which is a lot, as it turns out.
Yeah, as we've come to find.
Yeah.
So if you hear us say weird, what's the word, amalgamations of cuss words that
bull
like,
spit.
like bull spit or something like that, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. We are live on YouTube. Folks are jumping on. Jumpy Bob, Mark Wiley. Mark Wiley, been a little while, so good to see you, man.
Sweet.
Driving home, so mostly just listening. But what's up, guys? What's up, Mark? Jumpy Bob, good to see you. Folks joining in, hanging out. We'll do 2 more minutes, and then we'll go live on the show. Josh, where are you at right now?
I am actually sitting in the lobby of Victory Lane Karting.
Oh man, we've been there. We have raced that track.
Yep.
Is your time up on the board?
With a couple people. No, not yet. We haven't went out to race yet. They got somebody out there right now. So.
Okay.
We out here we're doing a little racing. We got Austin Green, Ty Gibbs, Nick McMillan, myself. So we're just having a good time.
Man, that's super cool.
That's really cool. That is the site of the worst car crash I've ever been in.
Oh, me too. Guess why that's related?
Somebody got loops on that big sweep and turn.
Coming into the start-finish.
Somebody else hit the line right, and I got smoked.
I got every bit of grip there is on that track, and Sherwin got none of it, and I hit him, T-boned him at about 40. That was
a little miscue.
Yeah,
just a little snafu there.
Yeah.
The attendant kind of looked at me because my head kind of went down or whatever, like I was like kind of dazed, and he's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "I think so." Gas her up.
It's one of those. Their first reaction wasn't like ha ha ha. It was, oh, okay. We have a thing now. We both shook it off. I felt it the next day and the day.
Those are always the best.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Well, it lets you know, at least gives us these, us dummy, engineer types that don't race cars, that like there is some pretty serious impacts that are happening, even just in the karting world.
Yeah. Oh man, Roger bringing up some old school stuff. Cheaters, I love it. And Odell329, is that Mike Odell? Michael?
Yes.
Awesome. Good to see you, Michael. Thanks for joining. We got some folks on. I think we're about at our normal size here. You want to get started, Sherwin?
Yeah.
Josh, you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
So I'll say...
so we'll disappear for about a minute.
Yeah, we'll disappear.
Or you might hear us since you're on a cell phone. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll get crazy for a minute, and then we'll bring you on. You'll hear what's going on. So with that, let's go ahead. We're recording now. Welcome, y'all. That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 169. It's Wednesday, November 17, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm in the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
This is our second Greg Biffle episode.
Love it. We've got a great guest on tonight. Before we get to him, y'all know what the deal is. This podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PTM. Join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month to get that free koozie. The best part is, every cent this year, we're donating to sponsoring drivers once again. So join the PTM Posse today. Be a part of the sport you love. This week's show brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That is Laura Henshaw, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keplinger, Tony Salt, Colby McClam, Eric Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Marion the Best, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brendan Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, Billy Workman, Rika Porter, Jumpy Bob and Les Miller, Tommy Witt, Mark Wiley, Julie Bosley, John Pearson, Eddie Greer III, Junker Motorsports, and Jason Rudd.
If that last name sounds familiar to y'all, it's because it is familiar.
Ooh.
Jason Rudd is Ricky's nephew.
Is that right? Oh, man. I'm buying me some Tide. It's going to be a weekend. Y'all, this is going to be a fun show, dude.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Unique guest here today.
That's right. And he's on the line right now. We want to welcome to the show PTM newcomer, driver of the number 90 DGM Racing Chevy in the Xfinity Series, and part-time crew chief as well on Twitter at Josh6Williams. It's Josh Williams. Josh, welcome to the show. What's up, man?
What is happening, fellas? I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, it goes both ways, man. This is a blast. We love doing this every week. Love talking to new folks and getting those perspectives, and especially somebody that's behind the wheel and tell us what's going on there.
Well, I ain't on the stand making calls.
No kidding.
This will be a first for us in that
That's true.
respect.
That's true. Josh, we do the same. We start the same way every week. We have to ask our guests what they're drinking. So what you drinking on today, Josh?
Man, I don't have anything in front of me. Struggling.
Well, you're about to get out on the racetrack at the old Victory Lane Carton, from what we understand. You might need to get hydrated before you get there, right?
I know, right? Need to give me some Pedialyte. A little hydration.
So over here in Roswell, Georgia, where I live, we got an Andretti's, and like they've got a bar.
Oh yeah.
And then they got the little short, like the 26-second track. And they just let you get hammered and then go in there and wrestle.
Yeah. You can Uber there and then drive for a while and then Uber back.
Right.
Apparently, it's all kosher. It is what it is. Sherwin, what are we drinking today?
Well, I think we just killed a bottle of Jim Beam.
Oops.
Not that we started it tonight, but we started it, at your Halloween party thing?
Something like that.
Yeah, well, so white label Jim Beam and Barrett's Diet Ginger Beer for me.
Diet ginger beer. We got a boatload of beer down there. Got this, for
we're getting
later,
into that tequila.
Some sort of tequila. So it's going to be a fun night. You know,
actually, I have to drive home, so I'm going to behave myself a little bit tonight. Normally, I'd take a ride share.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. You drove down to the airport, man. You were in an airplane for
way longer than I should have been.
Yeah.
Josh, you ought to see this flight plan. Our
flight path,
our path, I should say, that they had to cook up to get around a storm. It's special.
It was.
I think I've seen it on Twitter. It looks pretty impressive.
All over the place, Josh.
It kind of looked like a child's Etch-a-Sketch.
Yes,
yes,
that's about as good as I was at Etch-a-Sketch.
Exactly. Well, did they shake the plane any, Sherwin, to try to?
We had a couple rodeos that were kind of fun. I don't think anybody got bucked off, though.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe next time.
That's always positive.
Yeah.
Oh, Jumpelli's mad at me because I ain't got a hat on.
Oh, he's got to get his hat. While he's doing that, Josh, you were recently on a plane, my understanding. Just got back from the honeymoon. How's the married life?
I did, man. It's really good. Really good. It's cool when you get to get married to your best friend. So we've been together for a long time, and we've lived a pretty good life and have fun and enjoy each other's company. So it's always good.
Oh, that's fantastic! Congratulations on that. I feel you on the sentiment. When you can laugh together, when you can make fun of each other, when you have fun, and all that stuff. Good deal. So congrats. That's awesome. So a couple weeks ago, you had a interview there with Jeff Gluck, and as I'm reading through it, for those who don't know, the many things that I learned, Josh does the following things. Not only racing the Xfinity Series part-time in that number 90 DGM Racing Chevy, he runs JW Motorsports, where he builds cars for several different series. He owns and runs a property preservation company with his wife. They go in and clean up these houses that have been foreclosed on. People leave their garbage back behind, and he's doing that stuff. Owns also part-time crew chief, just wherever the company needs him to go, crew chief in that thing. Races, I already said races in the Xfinity Series. I'd ask you what a normal week is like, but I don't know if there is a normal in all that. How do you juggle all those things all at once?
Oh man, it's a little tough. A lot of long hours, but it's something you got to do to be successful, and that's what we're shooting for. But Man, it's a interesting time. I'm going to go on and tell you that. It's not your average Monday through Monday, I guess you'd call it. There's really no day off.
No kidding. I can't imagine, man. That's crazy. And not only all that, I forgot to put in here, I mean, you work on a lot of the cars yourself too, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of my own stuff. This year, with the Xfinity stuff, we do a lot of work, at the track on the cars with Mario. But with his shop being in Florida and us being based out of North Carolina, it's a little difficult. We get down there every now and again when we can. But yeah, it's pretty much can do it all from front to back. I don't build motors, transmissions, or gears, but I pretty much do anything else.
Wow, cool. Wow. So also in that same article, reading about some of the successes and stuff, and this one stood out to me. 20th place finish in Vegas on 2 sets of tires and no crew. How in the world did that come together? Was that just like a magic moment?
Man, you gotta hustle. I mean, you gotta race the race. You gotta race the people. It's not easy by no means, but it's all about just sticking with it. You can't get behind. You really can't worry about, oh, well, I only got X amount of tires, or I have to pit second time by or whatever. You can't think about things like that. You just got to focus on your race and do the best you can. And fortunately, we had a really good race car, and it was really good on tires and things like that. So it worked out in our favor. And like I said, just a good, successful weekend, and we were very proud of it.
So you get to the track with all these multi-million-dollar teams that have the crew that has been training in their nice training grounds and all that, and I mean that's great for them and everything. But you walk up and you don't have a crew. What's that like? Do you start just wheeling and dealing with folks? Do you catch somebody that looks like he's big enough guy to carry a tire? How's that work?
Or gas can like Carlton?
Yeah, I have done that before. That's not funny. That's a true story. I've done that before. But it's not so bad. Fortunately, we the 36 car of Alex Obey, we get to use his pit crew. They just run down however many pit stalls it may be, and then I get to come down and we get to use theirs. It just puts us behind a little bit, but we get the job done.
Well, we hear a lot about guys that are racing in your type situation that say you just got to race your race. You got to have tunnel vision on what your plan is for running a race and trying to get the best finish. Would you say it that way too?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have to focus on, I call it winning your class. So
yes.
You've got, your top 10, and then you've got 10th from probably 15th, and then you've got 20th on back. So you got to win your class. And, I feel like if we can finish 25th to 20th, I mean, that's a successful weekend for us for the amount of money and the amount of effort that we put in. I mean, that's a win for us, and we won our class, and we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. We've talked with Tommy Joe Martins a lot. He's been on our show.
PhD, multi-time.
Yeah, he's like a chancellor, dean or something with his.
Tommy Joe is he's definitely one to voice his opinion. I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah, and he makes for a great person to talk to that has a perspective of being the guy that writes or helps write the checks and being the guy that helps build the truck or the car and all that stuff. So it's been fun watching him make that transition to racing for Vinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's different. A lot of people, they look at it and they're like, well, y'all just ride around in circles. Well, some of them do ride around in circles, and some of them are real race car drivers, and some of them are to the point where, they've put in their time. They came up the hard way, and they're in the Cup Series, and they deserve that. And there's different fans. There's race fans, and then there's I guess you call them. It's their life, So they understand what us drivers have to go through. The smaller guys and the bigger guys that got to where they are now, it wasn't an easy road, and it's. That's what it's all about. We need a story. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the greatest things about us getting involved doing this show and getting all our fingers into these different places where we can talk to someone like you or talk to someone like Last Car on Brock, a Tommy, a Matt Weaver, guys that are kind of laying in the weeds but are totally committed to what they're doing and understanding that, you know, there is a lot of value in watching you or Tommy or anybody else that's in the same, you know, watch those classes, develop those classes, and watch and see how y'all finish.
And it's your favorite class to watch.
100%.
You know, in a race, a lot of times it's amazing to see the staying on the lead lap or you know, coming in at the right time, having the good pit stop with somebody else's crew that just you know, out of breath from running 16 pit stalls down. Yeah, that's super cool, man. You know, if you're following along, if you're one of the official sponsors and you got the show sheet and you're following along with us, we're going to skip around a little bit because we've got some limited time here with Josh. Want to get a few things in.
Capitalize.
Yeah. You know, Josh, one thing I want to ask about, those of you following along, this is fourth period.
We're skipping a couple.
Yeah.
We might have, just played a little hooky in the first part of school.
Right. Talking about Xfinity Series, since you're, you know, you've got a unique perspective there, we'll call it. Hemrick has 12 points on Allgaier, 14 on Tift. Bell and Cindric pretty much in must-win situations right now. Wondering if you have an insider knowledge, insider view on racing those guys and who you might see as a spoiler.
Man, I'd like to say Hemrick because I like his story. I like him as a person, how he handles himself, and how he's made it to where he is. But you know, Allgaier is a tough one to rule out. You know, he's so good. He's got a lot of experience. I mean, he's in really good equipment, a lot of knowledge behind him, and it could be a toss-up. I mean, you might as well flip a coin. I think you might have a better luck that way than guessing. It's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. And the competition in the top 12 spots, regardless, you know, whether if it's for a championship or just a regular win, is so close, and it's so tough. It's very hard to win these races, and let alone run inside the top 10 nowadays. It's just, it really means, it comes down to, I guess the stars need to align, I guess. It's really, you really got no other option just to be lucky, I think.
Yeah. Has there been a story this year, maybe in one of the years past, any of those guys that you've had a good race with and really thought, man, I'm right here with these guys now?
We've had a couple good runs, you know, like our run at Bristol before we broke a shock tower. I mean, we were running really good, running right with them guys, you know, Ryan Reed and people like that, and it just reassures you that, hey, you know, we can do this, and you know, I'm capable, the team's capable. We've got to get that little extra bit, and once we've got that little extra bit, we're going to be right there with them. So it still gives you a little bit of green light, you know. Hey, you know, we're not wasting our time here.
Right. Sherwin, any thoughts on spoilers here? Allgaier, Tift, Bell, Cindric. Two of them have a chance possibly at racing in on points. Bell and Cindric needing a win. What do you think?
I think Bell is probably the only one that could hit the home run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have to win the race to get in.
That's what I was going to say, so I'm not going to say anything now. But
yeah, I mean, I want to leave it there because I think I see a little bit further down on the sheet we're going to talk about, you know, what's coming up next and what the new racetrack means for how I might respond to this question.
10-4, gotcha. We want to thank the PTM Posse for sending these questions. We've got some questions for Josh. And, you know, whenever we have somebody on, we try to tell everybody who it's going to be as far ahead as we can so you can get the questions in and make sure you get that interaction, which is so cool for people to do. So with that, William Soke at William Soquet, he says, Josh, so you've got this driver development program. Do you ever see that going into ARCA or K&N?
We have done some ARCA stuff in the past. I mean, we still own all of our ARCA equipment from when I raced it. You know, up until you know, last year we ran one race at Salem, but I mean, we've still got it all, and we're definitely exploring that avenue. We do have we're building actually a brand new speedway car for the ARCA series to take to Daytona. We're just working on getting some people together and trying to find a driver and funding and see if we can go win Daytona in the ARCA series.
So tell us about the driver development program. Do you have one going on right now, or what's it all about?
We do a lot of stuff. We start out like in the Bandolero leagues, things like that. We've got a couple drivers that we've worked with. We've got drivers all over Florida, Virginia, just stuff that we try to help them out and chassis setup stuff, driver coaching, things like that, and try to carry them on and follow them as far as we can, and try to help them out throughout their career.
Right on.
Whether it be, like I said, if it's go-karts or ARCA cars or, Xfinity cars or whatever it may be.
That's something cool if y'all go follow Josh on Twitter. I mean, you see the how is this thing have an engine small go-kart, and he's proud of helping somebody out in that, all the way up to, ARCA, Xfinity, et cetera, posting pictures there. It's really cool to see, the breadth of what's going on that Twitter handle. It's really neat. Racer's Racer right here. Let's see. Next we have from Magic Michael 329 at Odell_Michael brings us a question here. I love this question because first off, before we get to the question, tell us about Crew Chief and how that came about and what it feels like, behind the wall versus running it, and has that given you some perspective there from a driver standpoint or from the Crew Chief standpoint? And really, that is the crux of Michael's question, how those compare and if it makes you a better driver too.
Yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, knowing your race car is half the battle. It's just, the little things of, you're frustrated at one point because you wish it was you, but then at other time you're still learning. And I've always worked on my own stuff, and I've always been required to work on my own stuff. So it's just, I don't know. I like it, to be honest, because I like working on my own stuff and working with somebody else is good too, so you can kind of help them and develop them. Maybe it's an inexperienced driver, things like that, or maybe it's a really experienced driver, and like you said, you do get to learn and things like that. So it's not so bad. I do like it. I feel like it's my backup plan if I get to the point where maybe I can't find the funding or I just aren't able to find a ride. I could also I could Crew Chief.
Have you ever been frustrated, like as a crew chief, going, "Well, I need you to do this," and they don't do it, and you're thinking, "Give me the wheel, I'll show you how to do it."
Yeah, I've had that situation before. Yeah, when I was younger, I guess. I mean, I know I say that, and I'm only 25, but when I was younger, I used to do a lot of legend stuff in Florida, and I'd be like, "Hey, you need to do this or that or whatever," and then the dad will get mad, and the dad's like, "Oh, man, this car is just no good." And I'll be like, "Well, get out." And I'd get in it. Well, you really can't do that nowadays, but I used to do that. I used to be like, "Oh, well, just get out, and I'll get in it." And I'd go out there, and I broke the track record one time in somebody else's car, and I got out, and I looked at the kid's dad, and I said, "Here, tell him to drive it." And he got mad, but, I mean, it's just how it is, But, so it is frustrating sometimes, but sometimes it's not so bad.
What's one of the bigger things you've learned being behind the box? Is there something that translated to, all right, well, I've been crew chief before, I know what he's trying to say. What sort of perspectives has it added for you?
It's a little easier to, I guess, control like the stages in the race, from inside the seat. You've got a little better idea of, hey, well, I know that we're on this road course, and if we're 50, or let's say if we're 21 seconds behind the leader, we can pit with 3 to go before the end of the stage, and we'll be leading, when we take the green for the second stage. Like, you learn that stuff. You know what I mean?
Does it help you become a better communicator as a race car driver?
Yeah, I would say it does. It's just people doing burnouts here in front of your head.
In a go-kart.
Yeah, but yeah, it has for sure. Like I said before, it's knowing your race car is half the battle. I think that's why you see a lot of success They call it the Big Three in the Cup Series, but you know they've got the experience and they've got the knowledge of their race car, and that helps out, you know, with crew chiefs and race strategy and everything. It's a team effort. You know, races aren't won by drivers only. It's a team. It's everybody. Everybody has to work together. So it definitely pays off.
So we're going to Phoenix this weekend, and you're gonna be racing there, right? Is that right? Did I get my information?
I am actually crew chief in Phoenix.
Crew chiefing. Okay.
I will race Homestead there.
Have you raced at Phoenix before?
I did. I ran the Phoenix race earlier in the year.
Okay, so we were there. We watched you do it.
We were there.
Well, we were there through all that rain that we brought to Phoenix.
Yeah, good God.
Oh, that was
I heard y'all were going to have some good weather, though.
Yeah.
From Lap Traffic's podcast.
That was our fault. We apologize for the rain.
We take rain everywhere we go.
Uh-huh.
Or I guess it's me, since I took rain to Michigan and
That's
rest
right.
didn't go.
That's right. It's you. But
I feel like it always rains in Michigan.
Yes.
Tell us about Phoenix as a racetrack and what, you know, is it a total who knows what's going to happen with the reconfiguration, or what are you thinking about for that, especially as a crew chief? What are the things that you're thinking about for the cars?
I was I think as far as setup wise and things like that, it's going to be, everything's going to be the same, but I was thinking about it. When they take the green, they're already like on the backstretch pretty much. What would be the backstretch.
Right.
So like your pit sequence is going to be a little weird. Because usually as a crew chief, when they come by you, you're like, hey, you really need you to pit this time, but it's not going to be like that. So you're going to have to tell them early, or you're going to have to tell them late, depending on, how you look at it, because the start-finish line's being moved. So that's going to be a little different, a little hard to get used to, but it ain't going to be too bad.
So now, do you think that'll still be the case because of the way they shuffled pit road, walked it down towards turn 2? Because now there's a bunch of cars that are going to pit on, what's going to be 3 and 4. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's going to make more chaos on pit road because the sight lines aren't going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sight lines are a little tough. Sometimes curve pit stalls are better because they're easier to get in and out, but it just depends on what part of the curve you're in. I mean, if you really got to turn in hard, it's kind of difficult, but there is disadvantages and advantages, I guess, just like everything else. If you're in really deep into the curve, then you kind of got an advantage because you're going to be, you're going to have a better shot of getting out of the blocks because the car in front of you is already going to be angled the opposite direction.
That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about restarts? What do you?
So yeah, we got.
Oh yeah,
we got a question from.
Now I was thinking about that at the Louisville. I was like, man, they need to just let them go through the chicane on the front stretch and take the green. Which I'm sure, from an owner's standpoint, that is not the way to go. But from a fan's perspective, I think that would probably be pretty cool. But
that'd be pretty dope.
One question that we got, years ago, now that we can talk about us having been years doing this for a driver, and I love hearing this from driver's perspective, and it's kind of off the wall, and they said, when was one time that you showed up at the racetrack and you realized you forgot something important? And we've heard people like forgetting their license, forgetting their pants,
helmets, fire suits,
yeah, everything.
Hard cards.
Oh,
yeah. What's the thing that you have? We were witness. I'm losing my voice. To Ross Chastain forgetting his hard card.
Right.
We were there at Phoenix. He did that at Phoenix, matter of fact.
Yeah.
What was something that you forgot that you had to? Now it's a situation that you got to deal with.
Oh man, I have forgot my equipment before. I had to borrow somebody else's, and like the suit wasn't fit. It was like too big. It was just, it's no fun. I try to make sure that I right before the races, like right before we load up, to go home, I always make sure my helmet is where I know it's going to be next week. My suit is. So I've been there, done that, played that game, and lost. So I definitely definitely try to make sure I've got it all.
So before we let you go, you're there at Victory Lane. Me and Sherwin have raced there in the pre-show. We said that was That was a site of the worst crash either one of us has ever been in, and we were both in it. You put the puzzle pieces together on this one. We weren't riding in the same car.
Separate vehicles.
Right.
Yeah. But boy, what a fun track, what a fast track. If I remember correctly, Jeff Gordon's time was hanging up there. There was, on that particular configuration of the track.
Scott Speed, Jeff
yeah,
Gordon.
Yeah, I think Joey Logano had one, or Brad Kay or something.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody had their speeds up. It was, and it was really funny because I'm doing like a 35-second lap, and it's breakneck speed, and you look up, and it's like, 24 seconds. Like Jeff Gordon went around this thing 10 seconds faster than I. Like, what an idiot I am.
Yeah.
But so you had told us who else is there, and what are you looking forward to in tonight's race at Victory Lane?
Hopefully no suspensions. That's going to be the main goal. No suspended accounts or fines. So that's usually the goal when we go to any of these places.
That makes sense.
It's not that it's not that our version of rough driving and somebody else's version's a little far off. So.
I would really like to experience that in a karting situation. What like rough, quote unquote, rough driving from a racer's perspective is, just to know,
or just watch it.
No, be in it. See
be in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in it with somebody who can't drive, and I'm not talking about you.
Oh, I was like, I'll totally fess up to that.
I can't drive either.
Oh man, yeah.
I feel like we just scheduled a karting event. You don't even know it.
Oh, look out! Look out!
All right,
this will be fun. He's sharking the water, seeing the chum here.
Oh yeah. Well, next year we'll have to give more consideration to the Roval. We almost did it this year.
Yeah. Just
man, I tell you what, I had my doubts about it, but I think that's cool as hell. I think that's one of the coolest deals I've seen in a long time. And the fans that showed up is what really shocked me. I was like, man, I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch this. And then we got there, and I was like, wow, everybody wants to watch this. So
yes.
I really hope that it grows. I really hope that it grows for next year, and it just gives the fans something new to think about. And it also is, as you could tell, it was a challenge for drivers. A lot of people didn't succeed very well at the Roval, and I like to see stuff like that because that makes it racing. It's still hard. It's not easy to just get in a great car and go fast. You go to a place nobody's been to before, it's different. There's no grip, and it takes talent, and usually talent prevails. So,
who was it we talked to that was talking about how many more tickets they've sold, like year over year, because of that Roval?
Yeah, I can't remember who, but yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago.
And on top of that, I mean, I was in that same boat. I mean, man, I was like, hey, I'm going to watch this thing for how crazy it is. And then through stage 2, you're just like, man, this is good racing. This is fun. And I'll tell you what, I think that's what the fans did. I think that's why so many fans showed up. And it's really cool because they showed up to see an ish show. Right? And then they got to see a fantastic race. And so maybe a bunch of them walk away from that and going, wow, that was actually really fun. I enjoyed that for a different reason than what I thought I was going to come do. And to your point, Josh, that come back next year and see it again. So totally in on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for those,
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and for those who are listening now that haven't yet, what's his name? Oh my God, the guy that owns Charlotte, runs Charlotte. Bruton Smith's kid, Marcus Smith. Sorry, had a moment there. He did Nate Ryan's podcast and talked about how Mario Andretti wanted to come turn some laps. And he would let him know what he thought about it. Y'all go listen to that podcast. I'm not giving any spoilers because it's worth it.
Cool. Well, Josh, we've run up against the time frame here. We appreciate you being on so much. It's been an absolute blast. Always good to talk to somebody new, and we always say as long as we didn't completely offend anybody, maybe we'll have you on again sometime.
That's right. Well, with me, you never know. That could happen. But thank you guys so much, and we're going to have to schedule this go-kart event.
Well, tell the folks where they can follow you and everything, and tell us, how you're going to finish in the upcoming race at Victory Lane Karting.
Well, we're definitely going to win that. It's just hands down. Hands down. Just follow me on Twitter, like you all said earlier, Josh 6 Williams. that's where you get to see it all happen. I don't really hide much, and I voice my opinion from time to time, and some people get mad at me and then delete their tweets and run away and stuff like that. So it's a pretty fun time, and I really enjoyed being on the show. And anytime you guys want to have me on, just give me a shout, man. I'd love to.
My man,
awesome.
Well, appreciate you being on. We'll catch you next time. We'll be rooting for you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. See you in Miami.
Take care.
All right.
Good luck tonight.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Josh.
All right, y'all. There it is. Josh Williams. Super fun dude.
Yeah, do we have an exit plan for how we go next? Because that was a fun conversation.
Yeah, it is. You can tell he's got a lot more in the holster.
There is more in there. I think we just gave him an associate's degree, so we got to get him on back.
Yeah. Get the masters.
Yeah,
get the masters.
Get her started up on that bachelor / master's combo piece.
Right. Well, with that, Sherwin, let's go ahead and tear it down then. Because, dude, I mean, we were supposed to come on the show today and talk about how cool it was that Harvick took that selfie with the kid
Right.
and how, happy Harvick is back and stuff, and Texas was this kind of race or that kind of, maybe Texas needs to do something. These were all the stories on Monday and Tuesday, right? Was all right, Texas needs to do something different.
I mean, I gave him major props.
Blah, blah, blah.
I thought that was the
Yeah,
classiest
the
thing I'd seen.
Oh, it was super cool. That was awesome. But
then
come
to find out,
the hammer comes down on y'all will hear it next week. We were talking with Brandon from Lap Traffic. We'll be on you'll hear us on that show. We did the little drop in, but it was like, there is one rule about the spoiler. Don't touch the bleeping spoiler.
right?
And they touched the spoiler.
It's the same rule as fuel, y'all. You can't touch the fuel. Can't touch the spoiler.
Can't touch the spoiler. And evidently they touched the spoiler. Not only just touched it, but Stuart Haas came out and said, "Yeah, we're not going to contest that." That's I mean, it was pretty much
raise your hand and go, "Yep, we messed with that."
Yeah,
what I don't understand is, why did they put it on Harvick's car when they know he's already so fast at those kind of racetracks? Why didn't they put it on Boyer's car and go, maybe we'll try this at Miami?
Yeah, give it a little test or something. Well, now that brings up the question that everybody's talking about. What if they do that at Miami? What happens? And NASCAR is on the record, if you will,
holding the bag
of saying that they're, we'll do what we got to do. I think we've talked about this before in years past, Sherwin. I think if you have all the celebration, all the pomp and circumstance, everything, I'm going 10 full hat here, and they go back and they find the spoiler was, a eighth of an inch wrong, I think they're sweeping that right under the rug. What do you think?
I'm in favor of.
I'm not saying they shouldn't, whatever.
I'm just saying I'm in favor of the rules that Dale Jr. talks about a lot. In that, once you get teched before that race, that's it. There's no more tech. So they don't even have to absolve themselves of knowing they found something. Just, we're not teching it. We're going to tech it, before you qualify and after you qualify. And if you pass that, that's it.
That's it. Or impound the cars and then
impound them.
Yep.
And say, all right, we're going racing. We're going to practice for 1 hour on Friday. We're going to qualify on Saturday. And then we're impounding your car. I think that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah. I totally agree. Because otherwise, somebody's going to be left. There's going to be a room of people, of important people, sitting around a conference table going, well, what do we do now?
Well, they'll have to compromise their, integrity if they know something and they don't say. Because eventually what happens, y'all, is eventually all this stuff comes out, right? You've seen it. The books get written about every 5 years. And all this stuff comes out, what people were doing. And, we can all kind of giggle and laugh about how Kyle Petty talked about going off in the corner at Charlotte and dumping like 700 pounds of shotgun shot out of his frame rail. But it's
mercury spilled all over the track.
But the problem is that might be funny from 1992, but it's not funny now.
It's not funny at Homestead.
Right. It's not funny for a championship.
Right. So, I don't know. Mick Rose at GoDucks42 _ Mick. What's up, Mick? He says, shouldn't the OSS catch a spoiler that's out of tolerance during pre-race inspection? And I actually saw this question. Bob Pockers answered it and said, as it turns out, they don't check the spoiler. That's one of the things that's not in the thing.
Oh, well,
lasers
we
or
watched
anything
it
else.
at Atlanta the way they do height.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little, like, essentially, what would you call that device? It's like
It's
a caliper.
Stick. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a caliper.
it's just a big-ass caliper.
Yeah.
And they stick it on there, and that's it. And they get it either shows red or green on their little stick.
Yeah. And the green is a pretty wide margin, too, at that point.
Yeah, and because you have to build it, because they're building in travel and relaxation of shot. Like it's. I think they have a template that they use to sit on the splitter, because you know how the spoiler. Have you noticed how it's like it's got little bevels on the outside edges? Like it's beveled down just a tiny little bit. Whatever, I don't know how much that downforce that takes away, or how much better that makes the racing, but it's there. It exists. It's part of it. And you have to buy the spoiler from a NASCAR registered manufacturer.
Yeah,
that's a part that they
authorized.
buy. They're
Yep.
they're not allowed to manufacture their own spoiler.
Right. You buy
which
the
is why
spoiler, you bolt it
NASCAR
on.
gets so freaking mad when you mess with it.
Mm-hmm. And the response was really funny, because it was like, well, there's all these gray areas and stuff, and we will concede that we were beyond it. Like, this isn't gray. There's a line, and it's a thin line painted right in the sand, and it says, you do not cross.
Yeah. This is the spoiler you're allowed to buy. This is the one you will affix to your car.
You bolt that onto the car, or whatever they do to affix it.
And that's it.
And that's all you do. You do not take an angle grinder, and I don't know what they did.
Who knows? Remember Chase got in trouble last year because they put like a 1 millimeter of tape on it, and it was like, that added 50 points of downforce. I'm like, there ain't no damn way. Whatever.
But you touch the spoiler, like,
but they touched the spoiler.
That's the weird thing. Like, you killed the chicken. Can I kill chickens?
Can I kill chickens?
No, you still can't kill the chickens. No.
Ron White, y'all.
Ron
Go
White.
listen.
Yep, good stuff.
About 3 specials back.
Second period playoffs. Harvick is +3 on Kurt at this point with those huge penalties.
40 points.
Yeah, huge.
Huge.
Well, not just 40 points, but
they basically just took the win away. They gave him his stage points, but they took all the winning points away.
Right, took away the points, and it doesn't matter that he won the race.
Oh, he's got his trophy.
Right, all he's got is a trophy. So, it's for real. Chase back in the hunt for points, 17 behind.
And also has 2 top 5s in his last 2 races at Phoenix.
Look out. Almirola and Boyer in must-win situations there.
Well, Almirola doesn't like to get race hard, so there's no way he can win.
We'll have that coming up soon in the PTM podcast.
Might have buried the lead.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't read far enough down
it's
the
all
show
good.
sheet.
Do you have a bottle opener, by the way? We're going to break the fourth wall here.
Yeah.
He's going to get up for it, because I forgot to bring mine in here after somebody lost my my bartender bottle opener. And I don't know, somebody. There's only 2 people who use it, so I'm blaming Sherwin. Oh, what has he got? He said based on having Rick Mass on the show last week.
I had Devil's Backbone one, but this one's from Connecticut.
Connecticut. Okay. What is this? Two Roads Brewing Company. That's cool.
I think
Take the road less traveled. All right.
I think we went to a brewery when I was up in Connecticut last year.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so Eddie Greer III at 3wide_ Fast Eddie says, so with the huge penalty news on Harvick and the Force Squad going into ISM this weekend, even with his success plus winning back in the spring, will he still advance to the championship 4 without Rodney Childers? I think he does. I think he. Rodney Childers is going to be doing everything all the way up to the point of being at the racetrack.
So here's a fact that can't be a fact. We like to talk about those things.
Yep.
Harvick's won 7 of the last 12 races at Phoenix.
Oh, my God. That can't be a fact.
So I don't think you're making a bad prediction there.
Yeah. I think he is able to, because look who he's got to beat. He's got to beat Chase, which we'll maybe talk about that later on. But beating Boyer, Boyer's. I feel like Boyer's strong. Is Boyer strong at Phoenix? Has he been ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel like he's somebody we talk about.
So here's
at
a
Phoenix.
question I shouldn't be asking.
I'm
but I've
rolling.
been out on the lam this week with work. Boyer still has a chance to transfer. Is he still in
pretty
it?
much on a win? Pretty much on in a must-win situation. He's minus 35 or 40 or whatever.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
So
Well, any of those must-win guys winning would certainly be exciting for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Chase, Almirola, and Boyer.
Absolutely.
And then, so you still got a chance, oddly as it sounds, you still have a chance to put 3 SHR cars in the final.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
And that would be an all-Ford final, by the way, which some people would lose their minds. Not as bad as if it was an all-Toyota.
Well, yeah. Let's go to third period, because you mentioned it. Almirola doubles down on the hard racing from Joey Logano. I think I was reading an article from Weaver, and he was saying he was really disappointed because you got to take anything they say during the race or immediately afterwards with a little bit of grain of salt, right? Like, they're in the heat of the moment, they're upset, blah, blah, blah. And once they calm down, maybe, they are fine with it and whatnot. But Almirola, once again, just says, screw this guy, he's racing me too hard, a day, 2 days later or whatever. And Weaver had some very strong opinions on that in that same article. But he didn't even, this isn't Days of Thunder. He didn't even bump him. He didn't even rub him. He didn't do nothing but, race him hard.
Almirola just got loose.
Yeah. I mean, there's arrow loose, I guess.
I have that shot of Joey coming into the corner. He's on the high side where there's no grip.
Right.
And so the only thing he can do is carry speed and hope that he can make it stick. And you see him go by Almirola, and Almirola goes up, damn near wrecks both of them by catching him in the left rear. Mm-hmm. And somehow that's Logano's deal.
So here's the thing. I like Almirola usually.
I did too until this weekend.
Well, so that's the thing. It's so hard for me to I feel like there's this momentum. There's this inertia of I really, I like this guy. I like the way he races. I like that he's got the accolades with road courses and all this stuff. And there's a lot of momentum and a lot of inertia in me liking this guy. So when he does something that I don't like, it's not like this big momentum ball just suddenly bing and it's off the other way. I kind of roll over that, but now it's a bump. Now it's a big bump as you're rolling, and you're like,
it's like egg shape.
I kind of like this guy, but boom! What was that? What are we doing? Damn it! What's the deal? Yeah. Why are you So there's this kink in the armor right now that I'm not sure how to. I don't know how to reconcile this on my own, other than I don't agree with the rhetoric that he has right now, and I hope he gets the right amount of feedback that, hey, your PR person is saying, let it go.
And he's been getting feedback.
Well, yeah, across the freaking board.
I can't imagine that anybody that watches that situation and then listens to the reaction, which, like you said, when the guy's on the mic in the car, you just can't, you can't take that, as face value.
Right.
But, 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour later, and he gets out, and he's had 10 minutes to calm down, and he says verbatim the same words except for the cuss words.
Right.
It's like, dude, I don't know that you're even going to have teammates on your side on this deal.
Right. It's one of them
I mean, your crew chief and your spotter might have kind of coached you up a little bit.
Yeah.
But when the race is over, they're kind of like, hey, man, I think you got that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. If your buddy is too drunk and he's getting into a fight and you just sort of diffuse it, that's one thing. If your buddy's stone sober and he's getting in a fight and you're like, dude, this is on you. I know you understand what I'm saying right now. Right. I ain't got your back on this one.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah. I don't know what to say there. Other than, so we already talked about fourth period.
We did?
Yep, with the Xfinity Series. So let's skip straight to fifth period. Worst kept news or worst kept secret this year, I believe. Truex.
This afternoon's news.
Yeah. Truex officially to JGR with Suarez out. How do we feel about that?
I mean, I think we've had so long to understand that this was what was going to happen.
Inevitability.
That you kind of we probably already come to terms with it. Mm-hmm. I think, I'll feel a lot better about it when I hear Suarez signs a deal with SHR to drive the 41.
Ooh, yeah.
And Kurt Busch signs a deal to drive the 1. I think we'll all feel better when those guys are all in contracts with good race cars.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and it's weird. We've talked to people who say there's a lack of really talented drivers out there, and with Suarez, you have a really talented driver. There's not a lack anywhere, and with the backing that he has in terms of fandom, in terms of the diversity aspect, I mean, I just really love that he's here, and in the sport. So I don't know. I'm having trouble coming to terms with the fact that that he's out. I guess for me, it doesn't feel like he was ever given a fair shake. You know what I mean? Like, well, let him get in here for 3 years, see where he's going, get a win under, that sort of thing.
Finding out that his contract was year over year was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. It wasn't an investment as much as like, hey, here's a guy we're just having drive for us till we get somebody awesome. Which
I think what it proves is the thoughts that Carl Edwards really did go to Joe and just like shock the crap out of him and say, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So Suarez, despite the fact that he had a lot of Xfinity success, I mean, we saw Chase win the championship but then still run an entire whole season because Hendrick had a plan. I don't think Joe Gibbs' plan was for Carl to renege on his contract and then who you got there? Well, I mean, there's a ton of momentum behind this kid that just won the Xfinity Series title.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of attention. They had signed a contract with the Mexican, what's the digital media box providers? Aris.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't talk today.
Aris, yeah.
And I'm just excited is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, now he's out, and it's like, man, this is a swing and a miss if this guy doesn't wind up in a good car, because despite the fact that he probably wasn't ready to be in a Cup car, I think he's acquitted himself pretty well.
For sure.
Probably better than Joey did.
Well, and I've been looking for Suarez gear,
Yeah,
and now I'm not going to look for gear for a bit, but I'd like to see where he ends up and buy me a hat. Me and hats.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this means for Eris, what this means for, Bass Pro. What any of the I'm curious to see if Barney Visser is still willing or interested in sponsoring a car, just doesn't want to run a race team anymore.
Yeah.
So he's got a couple of those partners.
Yeah.
Within Furniture Row, and that there's a mortgage company or whatever that when he runs that blue car, I can't remember what it is. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that money is still out there, and available if that's the way they want to spend their money. Maybe it drops down to 2 or 3 hoods a year or something, but I'm curious to see. It'll be interesting. You got DeWalt in that space too. How well are they going to get along with Bass Pro?
Yeah.
Does Bass Pro just say, you know what, we're just going to give more money to Tony and more money to Richard, and we're just not going to mess with Martin Truex anymore? I'd be really shocked. I'm
turning up my nose at that.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the best spot possibly they could be. I mean, they would be on a Toyota and on a Ford and on a Chevy, and that's like NASCAR fans shop at Bass Pro.
Well, yeah.
Whether they root for a Ford, a Chevy, or Toyota, they shop at Bass Pro.
So we were coming back this last weekend. Me and the wife went hang gliding. That was fun as hell. If you ever get a chance to go hang gliding,
I saw
definitely
some pictures.
Do it. But we were coming back. There was a Bass Pro outpost, is what it was called. And I think it was because it's in the middle of freaking nowhere, North Georgia.
It's just like a small supply store.
But what was weird, it was a full-size Bass Pro. I don't know. I should probably go look this up, what the outpost means.
Oh, maybe it just means they don't sell boats or something. Or do they have boats?
Oh, that could be. That could be that they didn't sell boats or something, because they had. I mean, it was a huge store, but just down the road was Cabela's. And so I'm like, that must be why they've put a Bass Pro outpost there.
Isn't that the same company now? I think it is. I think Bass Pro Cabela's is the same company.
Ooh, I would love somebody to tell me.
Yeah,
whether it is,
because Gander Mountain and Camping World are now the same company.
Okay, where's Tractor Supply? They're their own thing.
They're their own thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cabela's was definitely on Ryan Newman's car this year, and on Ty Dillon's.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Cabela's and Bass Pro the same company. I don't know which one is the parent, but that's the same company.
Interesting. How about that? Bass Pro owns Cabela's is what? Who was it? Just said that. Beast just said that on the deal there. So yeah, appreciate that. Interesting. Something I did not realize.
It was something that
turns out.
I mean, now looking back, I remember when they said Cabela's is going to be on the car. I'm like, isn't that a competitor?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no, it's the same company now. That's what's going on.
Oh, there you go.
But
Sure.
they have developed their own, their own fans, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Recess, y'all. Always a fun topic. And I wrote on this one. Sherwin, did you read what it says for recess?
I did.
I wanted to.
What are we getting into now?
I wanted to put a little fear in Sherwin in the show notes because it says in the show notes, Rusty talks politics.
Uh-oh.
And
we don't do that much.
No, we don't talk politics on the show. But I'm going to say something that is controversial.
Okay.
And that might lead some people to be upset at us.
Okay.
Right?
I'm
Yesterday,
okay with that.
Election day, midterm election, all that stuff. And everybody's posting on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else their I voted stickers and stuff, right? And if you're watching on the YouTube, I've got my hat, and I put it on my hat because it wouldn't stick to my shirt. Here's the thing. That sticky thing, they never thought about the what is it, the polyester shirts or the what do you call that?
Either that or the drier sheet finish and
exactly.
all the
The dry fit stuff. That's pretty much all I wear now. The polos.
They don't stick to. So I was actually wearing this pullover when I voted.
Yeah,
and it
doesn't
was coming
stick
off.
It doesn't stick to that. So I just stuck it in my hat, and I wore the hat tonight.
Anything cotton's good.
Right. Now I saw all the stickers that I could see, and here's Rusty's political viewpoint. Georgia has the best I voted sticker of any stickers. What do you think?
Yes.
All right.
I didn't know if you were going to go that way.
I was going there.
Or if you were going to go a different way. But I think our stickers definitely are the flashiest.
It's got the peach on it.
It's got the peach.
Nobody
I'm a
else has
Georgia
got
voter.
anything. I'm a Georgia voter. It's in a different font with the peach and all that. I know some people, it's in the shape of their state, but it said I voted, and it's got the flag behind it. I'm not disparaging the flag. Obviously, love that deal. But I mean, come on, y'all! Look at that. That's a sticker right there.
Yeah, well,
and I like stickers.
Yeah, so I was wondering where you're headed with that because I know you don't mess around with Instagram.
Oh yeah,
but I saw something on Instagram that I want to show you, and so see how you react to it.
Another
because it wasn't so much the sticker; it was the locale of application. That made me laugh.
Locale of application.
So let me see if I can get to this person's deal real quick.
Oh man, who was it? Roger said that his polling place was the best. There was a bake sale, manned by an old woman who guilted you into buying cookies. I don't know if it takes a whole lot of guilt for me to buy. Oh my god! I am not gonna say what I'm looking at right now, but that's.
You
very
can imagine a very provocative location a woman may put, hey, I voted sticker. That's what I just showed Rusty.
You're going to break me tonight. That's funny.
Chell Sanity is the handle on Instagram if y'all want to go see.
Oh, that's very, very funny. With that, Sherwin, since we're way in the ditch, let's go ahead and gas it up.
Bounce it off the guardrails real quick.
I'm laughing too hard. Let's see here. We've got Cancian, Andrew Cancian at KHANTZIAN. He asks us, what's the over/under for restart crashes by morons making desperate dive bomb moves for the weekend?
So I think we got sidetracked. I was trying to get to this when we still had Josh on.
Oh yeah,
but I think the answer is north of 5.
North of 5.
I think there's going to be some nutty stuff because where they put the start finish is like, I don't know, 50 or 100 yards before the guys that are wanting to, when early in the restarts when they want to cut the corner while the tires are still working real good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need the banking. You could see 5 wide at the start finish, and they're going to have to paint start finish from the wall to the other wall.
To the other wall. Through the pit stalls, through the garage. All the way. Yeah.
Because it's not, and it looked to me like they deliberately, when they moved the pits around the corner to give the fans a better look at them, it looked like they deliberately stopped them before that.
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't have all this dive bombing going on while you have people actually pitting. I had to look at it again. Somebody can probably tell me I'm wrong, but the schematics are all out there today. But I think we're going to see a lot of it, And I think what we see on Saturday is going to determine how many guys on Sunday are willing to do it.
Oh, yeah, a little test drive here.
It's always been the Xfinity guys since they reconfigured the dog leg that really wanted to give that a go. And give it a go like 10, 15 laps in a row.
Yeah, yeah. Prior to this morning's announcement of penalties, I would have said, chances are pretty low. It's pretty disparate in terms of people who are in and people who aren't. People who are in are going to be a little safer. But now that there's actually a race, whatever we're calling this deal,
winning you're in.
You could definitely see that deal. Do you think this is a time where Truex Logano thing makes sense? Or to Rick Mass' point, like right now, it doesn't really mean anything, and so it wouldn't matter? Or do you think that we could see something like that? Silence.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no. I totally think if we end up with a late race caution, and these guys all, everybody comes in for tires, and you've got those 3 guys that are up in the top 6 or 8, I think we're going to see absolute chaos.
Chaos, yes, and that's what they're going for here, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly what they're going for.
This is the point. So must see racing. How? What's the distance on this one?
It's a 500 kilometer.
Okay,
it's 312 laps.
Yep. Okay. So 500 kilometers, 312 laps at Phoenix, 1 mile. Man, I'm looking forward to it. You know what that means? We've got to do some picks, and in order to do those picks, it's Junior.
Drivers, start your engine!
There he goes. Sherwin, let's start with you. Who you got at Phoenix this weekend?
Did I lose to you last week?
I have no idea who I picked. I suck at remembering.
I picked Joey Logano.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought you picked Truex.
I did pick Truex. I think you're right.
I beat you by like 2 spots.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
So does that mean you go first or last?
Usually the person who gets the better finish goes last.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, we can look it up real quick. That's easy.
I'm going completely off the wall, though.
Okay.
No, this is not completely off the wall whatsoever. But I was going to pick Harvick anyway to be kind of the spoil sport here. Yesterday, that's who I was going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And today, I might as well pick him again. Why not? Now, not just a spoil sport, but hey, I don't need that spoiler to win. I'm just really good at Phoenix. And like you said, if you said that 7 out of the last 12 he's got, I mean, holy crap.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So there you go. I'm picking Harvick. Who you got?
Let me think on it a minute. I've been pretty consistent all year with my behavior. Yeah, Yeah, actually, I definitely beat you by 6 spots. I finished 3rd and you finished 9th. So we did this appropriately.
Top 10s. We did okay, though.
Well, I'm just going to keep on being a homer. Chase finished 5th in the spring, and he finished 2nd last fall. So, I mean, this isn't an off-the-wall pick. It's a homer pick, but it's not off the wall. So I'm going with Chase Elliott. Well, and if he wins, he's in.
Yeah. And had you gone first and picked Harvick, that's who I was. And you're wearing the freaking hat with the 2 black stripes on both sides. It's awesome. So, love it. Great pick. With that, let's start closing this thing down, man. It has been an absolute blast. We had Josh Williams hanging out with us.
He was a lot of fun.
He's down for another episode. That first one is always like, let's get to know you. Second one, we'll let the hair down, and it's gonna.
The next one we'll know to schedule it when he's not like got an activity where he shouldn't be drinking, and we'll make sure he's good and gassed up.
Right. So good times though. That was really cool. Thank you to Josh for being on. With that, y'all, let's close her down. It's time. Y'all know what the deal is. PTMpodcast.com, at PTM Podcast on the Twitter handle. As always, I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wiles at Tailgate Mayor.
Yeah, and I'm Andrew Sherwood at Pregame Engineer, at Andrew L. Sherwood on the Instagram. We got the Patreon account. That's patreon.com/PTM. Go over there and check that out. And YouTube channel. If y'all are watching now, you already know. But there's a whole bunch of y'all that are going to listen to this that don't even know we have a YouTube channel where you can watch this like a television show that we do not edit.
That's right. Zero editing because we're lazy as hell. And with that, oh, let's hit it, dude. This is awesome. Thank you, Josh.
Woo!
Talk to y'all next week.
No worries.
It's wide open, it's cold beer bottles and good times rolling. We're built for speed and we ain't slowing down. It's finding the groove, it's the thrill of the chase. It's running on fumes in a checkered first place. We're stealing wheels and racing hard. We are NASCAR, we are NASCAR.
Y'all enjoy Phoenix this weekend. There it is. Podcast.
Boom.
In the books. Y'all.
And we're still live on YouTube.
That's right.
Who knew?
Y'all on the YouTube.
11 people knew.
Woo! Oh, my.
What?
I think I need to get a new mic stand thing. I keep having to put this thing in like weird angles so that it doesn't flop over or something. It's just kind of like.
This part of mine works fine because I don't mess with it much. But where the mic is actually mounted could use some work.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And I definitely need.
There's like duct tape on yours.
I need a new cover for next year.
Well, maybe.
This thing's brutal.
Maybe. I mean, we might want to just upgrade everything. You know,
I'm good
like,
with that.
Get some.
Well, we still need to
get
talk
some
about
microphone because my microphone, like this thing is all busted. The on-off switch. So who knows? It might turn off at some point too.
Yeah, Odell. Yeah, we might have blown a motor on the mic stand. Yeah, I mean, we could keep these for whatever. I mean, they're not. The microphones are great, but we still need to also talk about reviving our campground stuff by maybe getting a better piece of equipment so it's not such a challenge for you. Get one of those Zoom things or something.
Oh yeah. Figure out how to do it.
Yeah, you just charge them up, and then we could
let her rip.
Periscope it or something, and then just upload the deal later.
Periscope? Do people use Periscope still?
I've been messing with it on the plane, mostly just to like distract the guy next to me. Be like, "Hey man, we're taking off," and you're like uploading video. I'm like, yeah. See, there's rules and there's understanding that those rules don't matter a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, we're saving the thing down. We're doing the ordeal. With that, y'all, I think it's time to close her out on the YouTube. Thank y'all for joining. If you're hanging out, if you're having a blast on a Wednesday, it's good times.
Hump day.
What did so I listened to a joke recently while I was trying to save down, and it said, well, on Monday you just got back from the weekend, so you're useless, right? Wednesday is like the peak of the week, so you're looking forward to the weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Thursday is the day before Friday, so you can just go out and do stuff, and none of that matters. Friday, that's pretty much weekend. So Tuesday is like the only day that you actually do any work.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right about that.
I was like, I thought about that, and then I just thought, that's
yesterday for me was fairly productive. Okay, I got up at 6:30 and I went and voted.
Got your sticker.
Got my sticker
in the U.S.
I can't remember where I stuck it, but it's somewhere in the kitchen. and then I got on an airplane and I flew to Orlando, and then I had a tabletop deal, which is that's engineering talk for happy hour.
Tabletop,
heavy hors d'oeuvres and free booze for an hour and a half.
Love it.
And then had a dinner with a customer. So fairly productive.
I got the ATL United shirt on, dude.
Yeah.
I had to represent a little bit. We're
so we
doing
got
stuff.
A home game on
I would say,
Sunday.
like sorry, not sorry to Roger. We definitely that was a hard fought match.
Twas.
Yep. With New York, so
New York City FC.
Yeah. So good times.
All we got to do is tie them or better on Sunday, and we win.
Booyah! All right, y'all.
Because it's aggregate, just like they do in the Champions League.
This thing is about saved down, which means it's time to stop streaming
for us to go
and start doing some nerd stuff.
Probably.
So I can
fairly
get this thing
nerdy.
uploaded.
Yep.
We will talk to y'all next week. Thank you for hanging out.
Did I figure out who we got next week yet?
I don't know.
Who did I have? I got somebody in
Yeah.
the
We know it'll be fun.
in the spider web.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't locked him down yet. Oh, I know who it was.
Ooh.
Former
Stay
NASCAR executive. I gotta get back to him.
Yes.
He said he was going
I
to
did
give me
see
dates
that.
because we were talking about
Gonna
doing
give-
a show on Monday.
Yes.
Because travel's jacked up next week for both of us, or activities.
Yes. Yes. All right, y'all. With
Monday
that-
next week we'll be
Woo!
here.
It'll be fun.